Good morning, students. Today we learn phrases and clauses. You all already know what a phrase is, but here we will be learning the difference, or you can say the comparison between phrases and clauses. So let's read first a phrase. A phrase is a group of words that act as a part of speech but cannot stand alone as a sentence. That is, a group of words forming a conceptual unit but not a sentence. For example, in the air after the thief. So, if you look at this sentence in the example, in the air after the thief, you will see that what is said makes some sense but not complete sense. It it's telling you that you're talking about something in the air. You're talking about something who maybe someone is running after the thief, maybe the dog ran after the thief, or the policeman ran after the thief, but that is not mentioned. Who is doing the action? Neither the action nor the person doing the action is mentioned away. Okay, like say ran after the thief, chased the thief. Now who chased? Chased is the action, ran is the action. It's not given. The policeman chased, the dog chased, that's not given. So the subject and the verb both will not be there in a phrase. Correct? So no action. Specifically, the verb is not going to be. If the moment you find a verb, it's not a phrase. Okay? Same thing. The birds are flying in the air, the balloons are flying in the air, or there are pollutants in the air. So the verb is not there. There are pollutants. So that's not there. Okay, the subject is not there. Pollutants is not there. Birds flying, the action flying. Yes, verb. And birds or balloons or kites or whatever is not given. So that's what a phrase is. It doesn't contain its sentence, but it's sort of an incomplete sentence where you have no subject or no verb. A phrase makes some sense, but not complete sense. It does not contain a subject and a verb. Now, phrase is complete. Let's go on to the clause. A clause is a group of words which have a subject and a predicate of its own and forms a part of a larger group. Means there will be a sentence, part of it will be a clause. Yes, and a clause will have its own subject and its own predicate, not like the phrase. See the example. Shilpa went to bed early for she was tired. Now, if you look at the part that is underlined, okay, Shilpa went to bed early. Think, look only at that part, you will see that it is complete. It's a complete sentence by itself. It has a subject, it has the verb, and it has a predicate also. Yes? So, you see, the clause has the whole thing, that is the subject, the verb, as well as a predicate. Now, a sentence can be divided into main clause and subordinate clause. So, let's see what is a main clause and what is a subordinate clause. Now, main clause is also called a principal clause or an independent clause. Now, why it's called an independent or the main clause? Now, you know, principal you should know very well. A principal is the head, correct? He is the main or the important person in the school, correct? So, that's the same way with this clause. This part of the sentence which forms the main clause is very, very important. Whether the other part is there or not there, this part of the sentence, which is the main clause, is complete by itself. If you look only and only at the main clause, you feel like it's a complete sentence. Okay. So what's added over there after it is like something extra. Whether it's there or not there, the main clause is complete. See the example. I'll read this first. A clause that makes complete sense and can stand by itself is called a main or principal clause. See the example. I love to dance when the music is loud. So if you look at the main clause, I love to dance, the whole sentence is complete. Whether this part is there or not there, it doesn't make any difference because this part is complete even if this is not there. So it is a main clause. It can stand by itself. It doesn't need this part. Okay? Even if you remove this, still this is complete. Now see the second sentence. Although he is thin, he is strong. So if you see this part, he is strong, it's a complete sentence. So it's not necessary that the main clause it starts is there the beginning of the sentence or the sentence starts with the main clause. No, you can have the main clause here or at the end of it, at the beginning or at the end. You should only see a part which is complete. Okay, so he is strong. This part is complete. It doesn't need this. So this is the main clause. Now we go to the subordinate clause. Subordinate or dependent clause. Subordinate means lower in rank, power, or importance. A subordinate clause comprises of a group of words that have a subject and a predicate but cannot stand alone. That is, it does not make complete sense. Like you saw over here, the example. If you just see only this part, although he is thin, it makes some sense but not complete sense. And it doesn't make sense alone by itself. It needs this main clause to make complete sense. Correct? Same thing here. When the music is loud, it makes some sense, but it's not complete. It needs this main clause to become complete. It does not make complete sense. Yes, it cannot stand alone. See the example. I will be in school when you arrive. So this is complete. I will be in school. So it's the main clause. When you arrive is a subordinate clause. Okay, this note has come up by mistake. Note should be on the next line. So what you should note when you're talking of main and subordinate clause is that generally all the subordinate clause have a subordinating conjunction or a subordinator. Yes, that is a word that joins both the main clause and the subordinate clause. Like for example over here when you see I love to dance, here you see when is there and the music is loud. Yes, here in this he is strong and this is there, he is thin. So if you really see, if you most of the time when you remove this is one complete sentence, this is one complete sentence, it is joined by your subordinator. Okay, now so the next one, if you see this is your subordinate. So let's see the list of subordinators that are there. Just please note that this should come on the next line. Okay, the subordinate clause is usually introduced by a subordinating conjunction like as, since, because, if, whether, after, before, when, while, though, that, unless. Now the difference. With one example, I'll show you the difference between a phrase and a clause. He is a man with grey hair. So, with grey hair is a phrase. There is no verb, there is no subject in this. Now, see the second sentence. Same sentence, you can make it into a clause. How? He is a man who has grey hair. He is a man who has grey hair. So, your who has grey hair makes complete sense because you have the subject over here as well as the predicate. This is your action. Has is your action. So subject is he. He who has grey hair. Okay. He who has grey hair. And predicate has grey hair. So this is your subject he who has is your verb and grey hair is your predicate. Okay. Now, so this is your subordinating conjunction over here. Because of this, it became into a clause. So, if you want to make any sentence into a clause, you have to add all those words, all the subordinating conjunctions, so what, when, all those words to make it into a clause. Now, let's see the exercise. Identify the main clause and subordinate clause in the following sentences. When she spoke, her annoyance was apparent to us all. Now, how you are going to write the answer? First, look out at all this. Can you say when she's look out for your subordinator? Remember what is subordinate? When, that, because, or as. Okay, unless, all these are your subordinators. So, where is your subordinator? Over here. When. So that means whatever is after this is your subordinate clause. But generally, your subordinate clause starts with the subordinator. So when he spoke, okay, is your subordinate clause your subordinate clause. The rest of it will be the main clause. What is the rest of it? Her annoyance was apparent to us all. So it makes complete sense. Now, once you have able to bifurcate, divide the sentence into main and subordinate. You should then look at your main clause to double check that what you have marked is correct. Because even if you make a mistake of just one word, instead of starting from here, you start from here, you are going to get the whole thing wrong. Okay. So now look at the main clause that you marked. Her annoyance was apparent to us all. Is it complete? Yes. So that means it is the main clause. Okay. And also you can see, remember I told you main clause you can divide into subject, verb, object. This is your subject, her annoyance. This is your was apparent is your verb, and to all of us is your predicate or your object. Okay, I'll read the rest now. He said that he was giving me a friendly warning. Next, so you look out for where is your subordinator that. Okay, where is your subordinator that? Now, in this, okay, that he was giving me a friendly warning. Remember, I told you whatever comes after your subordinator is your subordinate clause. So, that he was giving me a friendly warning, this becomes your subordinate clause. Now, he said, now is it complete? If you look at this, is it complete? No. So, here you have to assume he said it. He said it. Now, it becomes complete. See, this cannot be a subordinate clause. Remember what I told you that after this subordinating conjunction is your subordinate clause. So now what is your main clause? And how I told you main clause should be absolutely a complete sentence. Right? But if you look at this, then you will say, teacher, this is not complete. This is not complete because you just have to assume it. If you add it, is it complete? He said it. Yes. That means this is your main clause and the rest of it is your subordinate clause. Okay, I'll do the third one also for you. She were okay. Let's look out for the for a subordinator. I said always start by looking out for a subordinator. So here, this is your subordinator. So whatever is after this, all this is your subordinate clause. So let's see what is left over here. She was in a frenzy. Okay, is it complete? Yes, it makes complete sense. So then she was in a frenzy, main clause, and because 15 people were coming to dinner, subordinate clause. Clear now? Now everything should be clear now. I will just read it. I thought that his behavior was rather forward. Don't ask his opinion unless you are ready for a frank answer. A fortune teller told her that she would marry a handsome princess. So please remember to first start with your subordinator. The river water passes through a filter before it is piped to homes. We need a man who knows finance. The book is so fascinating that I can't put it down. If it is raining, we cannot go out now. We are still talking about the fabulous party that you gave. Unless you apologize, we will not take you back. So here, first thing, look out for all your subordinators. Unless about, yes, and remember your main clause, not necessary that your sentence starts with the main clause. Okay, so your main clause could be here or here. Whatever is after the subordinator is always your subordinate clause. Clear? Okay, so hope you are able to do it. Thank you and have a good day. In case you have any doubt, you can always ask me. Thank you.